cell that had 5. So let's give out those tips again for people who may be in this area.
Yeah, and you know, I grew up in the Midwest, right? So this is something that I know we deal with throughout the summer.
This is old hat to you.
Well, it's I was listening to Jen talk and kind of watching the pictures there. It's such an eerie feeling sometimes, like around that time of, you know, so the tornado warning watch or whatever. You could hear the birds chirping in the background.
Creepy, but eerie is a better way to put it.
Yeah, and she said that it was very moist, and I mean, this is one of those things people really just need to watch the warnings, watch the watches, just know what's going on and pay attention to the coverage, because you may need to get down to the basement at a moment's notice, you know, and it's scary.
So when you grow up in the Midwest, this is old hat to you. Is this drilled into you to know what to look for and then know where to go?
Well, I will say it definitely kind of like hurricane, you know, coverage here. Tornadoes are a very, very common thing in the Midwest, and the warnings and the watches and all of that. Yeah, certainly in elementary school we grew up kind of learning exactly all the safety tips and things that you need to do, and certainly getting down to the basement as soon as possible when you hear about a warning is the #1 thing. I think we have someone on the phone from BWI right now, Jonathan Dean.
Jonathan Dean. And Jonathan, we know that all the flights were halted out of Reagan, Dulles, and BWI earlier. What's the situation right now?
Well, that's not exactly correct. The FAA did put a ground stop in effect for a number of flights arriving at the airports throughout the region. We are certainly open and operating. Flights are departing and arriving, although at this point we are starting to see some widespread delays.
And so this new storm cell with this warning is basically heading right toward you. What do you do at an airport when you know a storm like this is heading right in your direction?
Well, the FAA will, if needed, halt air traffic for a short period of time. As you indicate, it looks like I'm looking at your radar at the moment, and it does appear to be headed straight toward us. We haven't had any rain or real wind or anything here to this point this afternoon, so we've been fortunate, but as you indicate, a small cell is headed this way.
And what are things looking like inside the terminal? Are people waiting?
It looks like a normal Friday afternoon at this point. It's busy, but certainly manageable. As I indicated, we've
got Columbia there on the weather map, but if we can get that shot of our traffic cams there, you can see US 29 at 32, and look at the rain that's coming down right there. That area, I will just let you know now, it is just incredibly bad when it comes to rush hour. So now when you add in this rain, it's just going to be a mess for a lot of folks there. So, you know, if you're checking this out on your app or something like that, just, you know, you may want to wait a little bit before you hit the road, because that's a lot of rain coming down very fast in that area as well. Thunderstorms, just a big mess out there as well. And that it's only, what, 20 to 5 right now, so that area will pick up and get very bad a little bit later. But you can just see just how it's moving, because from here, if we could take another traffic cam further to the east, you get an idea of just the differences that we can get here, because you've got 29 at Maryland, 32. You go a little further east, it may just be clouding up. They may not have the rain yet. If you go back to Harbor Cam, you get an idea where, you know, you can see from 29 over to downtown Baltimore. That's a pretty good distance, and so it hasn't quite gotten here yet, but in 20 minutes, according to Mike, it's going to be in the Baltimore city limits here. So that's the kind of thing that you need to be aware of, that these storms are moving through our area. They're moving very fast, and they're bringing a lot of rain with them.
And as you mentioned, this commute coming up, a lot of people take off early on Fridays. Hopefully they got home at lunchtime, cut the day short. But if you're somebody who's trying to figure out the commute home, where to go, how to stay out of this mess, ABC2News.com has tips for what to do in this situation if you're heading out on the road, how to handle a potential tornado warning if you're out shopping. We have you covered on ABC2News.com in terms of all the information you need. You can track the storm on the web. You can get severe weather alerts. You can even download one of our apps to get you all the information you need about this situation. All you have to do is text WMAR to 46988. So if you aren't able to access the web right now, you can get everything you need to know mobile, but we've got you covered on air, online, mobile, wherever you go. We've got you covered as this commute approaches and gets a little bit dicey as we watch this with these active tornado warnings happening in the Baltimore area.
Now we're here.
Necessarily funnel clouds, but they can be what we call scud, really just low-lying clouds that kind of turn around, but that certainly looks rather suspect. Now, we do have a tornado warning in effect for the Ellicott City, Catonsville area. That's the one right there until 5 o'clock. That's the cell we looked at just a little while ago. There wasn't a whole lot of rotation with it, but just enough, I guess, for the Severe Storm Center and the Weather Service to issue those tornado warnings. Once again, the reason they issue tornado warnings is not necessarily because there is a tornado or funnel cloud. It's because of the potential. So it's a way to warn warn people. Okay, doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground or even a funnel cloud. It just means that the conditions inside that cell are probably, at least in some way, likely to produce something, or at least possibly produce something. Let's look inside that particular cell right now.